It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to hour number 2 of That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend, and we're back to live shows here Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 on Tampa Bay's 1250 Wins WHNZ. And as always, the video stream available over at tampabayradio.com, as well as all shows are available on demand over on the site as well. And yes, I am still selling real estate, so if I can help you buying or selling real estate, please consider me a resource. And we'll be talking a little bit more about real estate in the 8:30 segment as returning guest Jim McPeak will be joining the discussion there about the McPeak real estate firm. So I'll be looking forward to talking with good old Jim McPeak, a longtime friend of mine and also a fellow REO agent. So we'll be talking probably a little bit about what we're seeing out there in the real estate market. If you're in there right now, you know it's pretty tough times out there, low inventory and strong demand from the buyer pool out there. So it's pretty tough to get a property out there. So we'll give you some tips on how to get your offers accepted and better ways to compete in the real estate market. That'll be the focus of the discussion on the second part of today's show. Up first, I have Rochelle Walk. She is the owner of the Walk Law Firm. Learn more about this, walklawfirm.com. And she's also the presenting sponsor for the upcoming business symposium being held October 28th at the Hilton Hotel on Lake Carillon in St. Petersburg. So Rochelle, a.k.a. Shelley, welcome to the program today.
Thanks, Jamie. Good to see you.
It's good to see you as well. And she's been a longtime supporter of the Tampa Bay business owners as a sponsor. And so we thank you so much for that. So thank you so much for your support of the Tampa Bay business owners.
Oh, yeah. It's been great to sponsor them. And I've been with them for probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years already.
Yeah, you're one of Chris's original sponsors going back almost to the founding, just about, correct?
You know, I am. And I will just kind of as an aside before we talk about some other things, but one of the great things about Tampa Bay business owners, at least for me, when I started my business, I was a brand new startup law firm.
Right.
So 25 plus years of being a lawyer, but first time being a law firm owner. And TBBO was great for helping me figure out how to get set up, helping me figure out what I needed to do to get my business going. I knew what I needed to do to be a lawyer.
Right.
But what I needed to do for social media and for getting things running, the resources that were available were just tremendous.
Yeah.
And so, now that we've had a very successful run, presenting sponsor, it seems to be a great place for us.
And in law school, they don't teach you how to do the business side of law, right? It's just how to research and win those cases or write those legal briefs, right? I mean,
they don't even teach you how to make a copy. So we kind of joke around about it, but when you graduate from law school, you're pretty much equipped to do nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'd say about real estate. You get the real estate license, you're equipped to do nothing other than learn how to not get sued under the fair housing laws out there.
That's a good idea. Sharon Feckety does it for doctors. We need some people that can do that for other business owners.
Yeah, there's a business idea out there. The Doctor Whisper, you have the Lawyer Whisper, one of our partners there. She does that back-end services for doctors and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do services like that exist for attorneys out there?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they do. And I have some accounting firms that will step in. I actually represent a lot of law firms, which sounds funny when people say, well, what do you mean you represent law firms? And I was like, well, not every kind of law firm is a business firm. And so sometimes there's a law firm that may have an issue, a partnership issue, a lease issue, and we'll step in and we'll do that work for them. So we work with a lot of law practices, doctors' practices, engineering practices, along with all the other kinds of businesses we represent. And so we do help them get themselves started. And I had thought about, could I do that for people? So I actually incubate a couple of small firms. I've let them use my space. I've, helped them get themselves launched. One of the things that I found is mentoring young lawyers and helping them get their businesses going doesn't hurt my practice. Rising tide floats more boats.
Is that your niche then? You represent other law firms, or do you do other things inside of business as well?
Oh, no, we represent all kinds of businesses. That's just one of the areas that we work in. But, our clientele is everything from hotels and manufacturers, entertainment industry, restaurants. We, as a firm, we represent businesses and their owners. So we literally represent any kind of business and their owners. So entrepreneurs, people who are, I will say CEOs often who are getting involved in a business, maybe working their contract out with a new business. What we don't do is anything else. So when somebody comes to us and says, can you do our wills? Can you do our, had a DUI. I have a son who has a little problem.
There's so many different facets of law. I mean, because when you get the 3-year law degree, that's it. It's just a law degree. You don't have really any specialties in any one direction, right? And so when you come out of law school, you kind of just got to pick where your heart is, right?
That's very much true. And you have to figure out what you know how to do and what you know how to do well. And what I always say.
Wait, let me get this straight. So basically, you go to school to be a lawyer or a researcher? Because, I mean, you're saying there's no niche class that you or criteria that you can go take. There's no class?
That's not really true. So in law school you can choose some of your electives. So there's certain base curriculum, and then of course you can choose certain electives and areas that you have more interest in, and then certainly pursue those topics and become more of a subject matter expert.
Oh, so you don't go to learn general law and then you pick what you want to do when you leave.
But you don't come out with a specialty law degree. A JD is just a JD. It's not like a medical degree. Or, of course, medicals has their different facets and everything, too. But a JD, that's what you have.
So what's different is when you graduate from law school and you pass the bar exam, you are qualified to practice any area of law. So regardless of what you studied in law school, on the day you pass that bar, you're eligible to do a real estate deal. You can't sit first chair on a murder trial. That's probably the only limitation. There are board certifications for people who become expert in certain fields.
Right.
There are not board certifications for all fields. Like my field does not have a board certification. But you develop your field of expertise over time.
Right. Now, one of the areas that you do is obviously business and business deals and the transactions that go into a typical business deal. Documentation is critical. So let's go through some of the need to know information for maybe a business transaction. You're selling a business. So obviously the first place to start is a contract for a sale and purchase. In real estate, there's a standard contract that we use in all real estate transactions. Is that the case with business transactions?
Kind of, maybe. That's the best way to describe it. So, of course, there are form documents. And, I have lots of clients who've said to me, well, I can go on LegalZoom, I can go on some other program and find a standard purchase agreement for the purchase of my business. The problem is that every business is different. And what you are buying and how you're buying it varies based on what your needs are. If you're buying an online business, maybe with an Amazon account, what you need and what that contract needs to say for, if you will, air. I mean, you're buying intellectual property. There's no physical asset, but somehow you have to get transfer of that Amazon account, transfer of that eBay account. That's very different. And the representations, warranties, and transfer documentation is different than perhaps if you're buying a piece of land or if you're buying a bricks and mortar business with a lot of inventory. If you're buying, for instance, just a website, if you're buying the Jamie Maloney Show, for instance, what you would need and how that document would read would be very different than what it would read if you were buying perhaps a Jim McPeak property management business.
Very cool. I thought Jim was going to pipe up there for a second. Now, do you typically work with...
There's no microphone.
Yeah, it's true. There's no microphone over there beside it. Now, do you typically work with buyers or sellers in transactions, or do you work with them both evenly?
So we work with both evenly, and often we're hired by brokers or by buyers and sellers together to be a closing agent.
Now, I was going to ask, is the role of the business broker, is that something that you recommend is also involved in the transaction? Because a business broker, has kind of the market for the seller out there. They know the different buyers out there. How do you recommend that they interact in a transaction?
So, it's really interesting because business brokers in Florida are licensed real estate brokers.
That's true.
And depending on your business broker depends on their capacity to really be able to assist with the transaction. A really good business broker will help set up both the buyer and seller in a transaction that runs very smoothly. A lot of times what we will see with a business broker is that the broker's goal is to present the seller's business in the best possible light, but the broker agreement says you've got 3 weeks to look at this business, buyer, and you, Mr. Buyer, after 3 weeks are either buying it or not. and you're buying it as is.
Right.
So what that means, and this isn't a broker problem, and you can have a great broker, but that broker isn't really getting involved in telling you whether or not that business is a good fit for you. They haven't done the due diligence for you. What they've done is they presented the facts of the business to the best of their ability based on what was given to them by the seller. Mm-hmm. So I think brokers can be very helpful, and brokers can be a great source of information, but they don't represent the buyer.
Right.
And in some ways, they really don't represent the seller either, because brokers are neutral.
Right.
So a broker, by design, is there to get the deal closed,
right,
to facilitate the communication between two people, and to make that deal happen.
Is that the same as a fiduciary, Jamie?
It's similar, yeah. I mean, are you acting as a fiduciary in your roles with any of the parties?
Not really, unless we are the closing agent and we are taking monies.
Yeah, and a fiduciary has the duty of loyalty to their principal, and so
right,
in a typical real estate transaction, no, you're a transaction broker by default. So I'm assuming in a business transaction, they're also a transaction broker as well. And as the case when you're representing your clients, you're in I don't know what the legal term would be in your case, but is it a transaction attorney?
So if we're representing one of the two parties, then we are fiduciaries to those parties. Okay. We have a professional code of conduct, and we have to treat that work as professionals, as legal professionals. And we do advocate, is the way we would present it, as opposed to a fiduciary. We advocate for the best interest of a particular client. Whereas if we're a deal closer, neutral, we would be neither representing the buyer or the seller. However, our duty would be to the transaction and to seeing that whatever the transaction's documents say, we actually complete, we execute.
Now, what's the time frame of getting a typical business transaction done? Just a typical solopreneur, maybe 1-2 employees. How long does it take to complete a business transaction?
I've done them in as short as 48 hours and as long as 2.5 years.
What about the tax ID? Does the tax ID transfer to the new owner, or does the new owner get a wholly new tax ID?
It's a great question. So if you're buying the stock or the membership interests of a business, you may be taking on that business's tax ID number. If you are buying the assets of the business, you're going to need to form your own business and get your own tax ID number. If it is a S corporation or a disregarded entity, it's very likely that you're going to need your own tax ID number. Part of the deal, when we talk about what's different in deals, part of the deal is how is tax treated? What happens on the sale? There are obligations in terms of reporting how those tax transactions occur, and they need to be provided for within the deal documents.
Because if you assume the tax ID of the business, you assume past year's tax returns liability. Is that correct, depending on how the deal is structured?
It's not so much about assuming the tax ID of the business, but it's how the deal is structured, on what you assume and what you don't assume, and whether or not there's indemnifications.
Interesting topic here. Got to take a break here. Currently talking to Rochelle Walk of the Walk Law Firm, and they are also our presenting sponsor for the upcoming business symposium being held October 28th. And you can learn more about sponsorship and ticket opportunities over at tbbo.org/symposium for that, and also more about Rochelle Walk and her law firm over at walklawfirm.com. You're listening to That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project. In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit billmeyerham.com. That's billmeyerham.com. Have a conversation.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Heavy traffic on westbound I-4 due to a crash just west of I-75, blocking the left and center lane, so stay to the right. Traffic is slow from before Mango Road. Also east and westbound I-4 slow in the Plant City area due to a couple minor accidents. Southbound I-75 slow from before Bruceby Downs to I-4. Southbound 275 from before Beers to around Hillsborough. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Udrich. Hillsborough traffic tip line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. Right now, there's a girl in India who has dreams bigger than her village. Right now, there's an elder in Guatemala who dreams of a life of greater dignity and less loneliness. You can help change the future of one person in a single moment. Begin the change at unbound.org.
Today, mostly sunny with less humidity, just a 20% rain chance, high 91. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low 74. Tomorrow, a 20% chance of showers, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 here on Tampa Bay's 1250 Wins WHNZ. And also you can see the video stream over at TampaBayRadio.com. And hit new numbers, new record high numbers on the video stream last month. Hit over 50,000 views. The first time we topped 39,000 was the prior high on that. So we thank Tampa Bay Multimedia for getting the message out to their audience. If you head over to WeBeamTV.com, it's another place you can see this show in addition to TampaBayRadio.com. But they do a great job with this program, and they also stream about nearly 20 other shows as well. WeBeamTV.com, a great web-based television channel. In studio with Rochelle Walk, owner of the Walk Law Firm, specializing in business sales and transactions, things of that nature. Learn more at walklawfirm.com. And we're talking about documenting business transactions. And, you know, a lot of times when business owners come together, you know, they don't really have a plan necessarily. They just kind of get together and they say, all right, let's just a handshake type of agreement. Do you see these transactions a lot where there's not even any paperwork involved?
All the time, Jamie. I'll tell you, I was thinking about this on my way over this morning. My father and his partner had a handshake agreement for their entire business career. They were friends from the time they were in kindergarten, and my dad died, unfortunately, at a very young age, and his partner with no business documents kept my mother in the business, did everything right by my mom, and to the day he died just a couple years ago, at almost 90 years old, our families were very close. That is so different than business today.
Yeah, where the hell were they from? Mayberry?
Actually, we were in a big city, but it was a different time, different place. Yeah. And people took care of each other. Today, I see people who are best friends from growing up go at each other years later, people who have not written down the deal. And here's what really happens. Everybody remembers it differently. No one, I'm sort of Pollyannish. I actually think people are good and people really want to do what's right by their partners. But inevitably, one gets distracted. One put the money in, the other put the labor in. Now we're 5 years later. The guy put in the labor in, made this business very successful. The guy who put in the original $25,000 still owns 50% of $1 million business.
Right.
And the guy who put all the work in isn't really prepared to give him 50% of all of his hard work. And because they've never documented how to exit, what's the exit strategy and how that's going to work, we wind up with all sorts of problems. We get into problems with control. So this is a pretty regular issue. As a matter of fact, I would say to some extent it keeps us in business.
So what became of that business deal that was on the handshake agreement between the families?
Well, in our case, over time, the businesses were sold, and my dad's partner, even after my dad passed away, gave my mom 50% of the money.
That's not fair. You left out what Andy did for the whole, group. Mediated the whole thing. Had a good old sit down with them,
Yeah, it just was never necessary, but that isn't the way life is today.
Yeah, everything's got to be documented. Everything's about documentation today, regulation. It's enough to drive the typical business owner up the wall. I mean, I wish we could go back to the days of handshake agreements, and you can't these days, though.
The hard part is you can't take a handshake to court. And when the jury and the judge have to make a decision about what really happened, all they have are the documents. And that might be the email conversations you've had, the text messages. You can't imagine what people put in text messages. I actually had a case that went through a whole mess of fights, and it was the Facebook postings that caused my client to win.
Really?
Like, I hear a lot of that in divorce court too.
So we call business divorce. When we see businesses get into business together and they don't have good documentation, it's just like a family getting a divorce. Yeah. Sometimes it is husband and wife. Right. Sometimes it's partners for life. Sometimes it's people who really didn't know each other. They just got into business together. But we really encourage, put it down. I'd say I call it the parade of horribles. Things to cover: death, disability, divorce, excessive debt, distraction. What if somebody gets distracted and goes a different way on the business? Deadlock. You're 50-50 partners. How are you going to decide?
It's just all this stuff just overwhelms the typical entrepreneurs. I don't even know what to think about all this stuff. Can't we just say we agree to this, and handshake it? I mean, life would be much more simple.
And write down what you guys are talking about.
But then the attorneys bring up all these things like, oh, man, I don't want to think about that stuff. That's the problem with business owners. They just want to think about all those things.
Well, and what I encourage people to do is get yourself to a qualified attorney, somebody who can help you figure it out in a way that works for you.
Right.
The document doesn't have to be complicated, but if you have a document you don't understand, it is complicated.
Good advice from Rochelle Walk, owner of the Walk Law Firm. So, Rochelle, thank you so much for being in studio today. Good information. We'll be seeing a lot more of her as well.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And you can pick up the phone and give her firm a call if you're in need of any business transaction help at 999-0199. Again, 813-999-0199, or visit walklawfirm.com. Coming back from the break, we'll be talking a little bit of real estate with Jim McPeak, owner of the McPeak Real Estate Firm. On That Business Show, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ham from Bill Meyer Ham Consulting. Did you know that one of the biggest challenges that leaders face is getting their employees to be engaged, motivated, and producing amazing business results? At Bill Meyer Ham Consulting, we'll help you transform your workforce culture from one that might be underperforming, maybe mediocre, to achieving amazing business results. You see, we realize that your workforce culture is equally as important as your business plan and your business strategy. The two must be aligned in order for you to reach your desired business and financial goals.
Carol,
hey Jim.
I just got this plan that could really help with our process here.
Okay, why don't you just have a seat and let's go over it.
Let us help you transform your workforce culture by leveraging your most important assets, your people. I want to know what's going on in your organization. Let us help you transform your workforce culture. Let's have a conversation.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Lead Safe America. More than 1 in 3 American kids has lead in their blood. No level of lead is safe. Lead poisoning causes learning disabilities and behavioral disorders. Has your child been tested? Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org.
The 1250 Winds Weather Center forecast: sunshine, just a 20% chance of rain this afternoon, going up to 91, heading down to 74 tonight. Tomorrow, a 20% rain chance, again 91 for the high. 1250 WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Keep in mind, we got the Business Symposium coming up. I talked about that a little bit there at the top of the hour with Rochelle Walker, the Walk Law Firm. They are our presenting sponsor, and that's being held October 28th at the Hilton Hotel in Lake Carillon in St. Petersburg. Tickets are available now on sale, and also we are selling vendor booths and other sponsorship opportunities are currently on sale. So we get about 400 to 500 people in attendance. It's a business expo style event. It'll be going on from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll have some breakout sessions and lunch, and it'll be a good fun-filled day of education and a chance to meet and collaborate with fellow business owners and people from the community. So if you head over again to tbbo.org/symposium, you can pick up a ticket or a couple tickets, or you can look into our sponsorship opportunities as well. And if you become a sponsor or pick up a booth, you also get an appearance on the radio show as well. It's another benefit of becoming a sponsor of the upcoming Business Symposium. Again, October 28th, tbbo.org/symposium. My next guest for the program, returning guest, is Jim McPeak of the McPeak Real Estate Firm. Learn more about him, McPeakTeam.com. Jim, welcome back to the program today.
Hey, thanks, Jamie. Good to be back, man.
And Jim is a fellow real estate broker specializing in bank-owned properties, but he and his team do a lot more than just foreclosed property. He himself does the foreclosures. You farm all the other stuff out to your agents, right? They do the traditional retail stuff, correct?
Oh, correct. Yeah, we take retail listings. We also do property management, which a lot of offices don't do. We have about 100, 200 homes that we rent out. We do leasing. We take care of people that are looking for homes for rentals. And both you and I have to say we have HUD homes that you can buy for just $100 down.
Yeah, that's HUD home $100 down program. Yes.
He's also good at boldly going where no man has ever gone before.
Where's that?
Shatner looking guy. Right
Will Shatner. That's your. You've been doing the lookalikes for some of the guests. You've been slacking over there. Gosh,
slacking. Well, you haven't reminded me.
I have to remind you. We've been doing like guest lookalikes when they come in. So you're William Shatner's your lookalike. You ever got that one before?
No, I've never heard that before. But I did see him yesterday on TV, and man, for 80-something years old, that guy looks great, man. He does. And speaking about 80 years old, the Veterans Housing Summit is coming up, and we do these all across the United States. And we teach veterans on how they can qualify to get a home loan and everything. It's a free seminar that we're doing. It's with the VA Rep, which is Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals. And one of the ones we had, I think it was over in Arizona, there was an 80-something-year-old guy that came in and found out he could buy a home with a VA loan.
How is it they don't know this? I mean, this is blasted all over TV advertising. Don't they tell you in the military to take advantage of your VA benefits? Do they not talk to you about that?
You know, they do, but you got to remember a lot of the times these guys are 20-something and they're not listening. They've got something else like Josh has on his mind, you know.
Right.
Green women.
Because you're Air Force, correct?
Yeah, I was almost in the military. I was Air Force. Yes.
Now, when you came out of the military, did you buy a home using your VA benefit, or what was your past?
No, I haven't. I haven't used the VA benefit. I will be using it soon. I've always bought a home traditional ways, the other ways, and a lot of times, as you know, Jamie, a lot of times you're discouraged from using the VA loan because a lot of homes don't qualify for it, or they don't advertise for it, and that's one of the things that we're trying to get changed too. We're also trying to get a VA rehab loan going, and there is one company out there that is doing
there is
a VA,
one out there. Yeah.
VA rehab loan, which is great. You know, it's really good for the veterans. But as I was talking this housing summit, this 80-year-old guy said, "I'm going to use my VA benefits and buy a house, man."
Right.
He's 80 years old and gets a 30-year loan.
Yeah, incredible. And it's a free benefit for the veterans out there, so take advantage of it. It's offered to you as being a veteran of the United States. What are the conditions for it? You just have to have an honorable discharge and been in the military, 180 days or something you said?
Yeah, it's 180 days, and there's different variables too. I mean, if you got wounded or something like that, there's other variables for you. And that's one of the things that we're going to be going over at the Housing Summit. It's going to be September 17th, and it's going to run from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., and it's going to be at the Holiday Inn at 3535 Almerton Road, Clearwater, Florida. I think Josh is going to get up the website for it.
It's up there. It is. Okay, so that do they register on that site, or where do they register? How do they get involved?
Yeah, there's two little boxes up there. One says event flyer and then event RSVP. So I'm guessing that's where you're going to click.
That's where you would click. That's correct.
And so to qualify for the VA loan, they just they have to get their DD-214 and then they take that to a loan officer. Is that pretty much par for the course, and then go find the house?
That's pretty much it. But you got to remember too that sometimes they don't have a DD-214. I mean, the guys that were in years ago, you know, some of the Vietnam veterans or the World War II veterans, they may not have a DD Form 214.
What is that, Blu-ray?
And we have ways of researching those things and getting those benefits to them. One of the things that the VA Rep organization has done is they've actually changed the application form for the loan process, Jamie. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
We went to Capitol Hill, and we got it implemented that there's now a box that says, "Did you serve?" It's coming up on the actual mortgage loan application, which will then pop up one of those pop-up things that says veteran benefits and all that about the veteran loan. It'll give them information about the VA loan, which we didn't have before.
Now, somebody gave me a great tip. I was listening to a guy who does a real estate podcast, and he said one of the mistakes that he made was not using his VA benefit to buy a 4-unit property. So I guess you could use a VA loan to purchase a rental property, live in one of the units yourselves, and then he's got 3 other rental units because the VA loan allows you to purchase a single-family home or a property up to 4 units. Have you ever had anybody go that route?
You know, I've never had anybody do that, but you know, that is one of the things that you can do, and you can do that with VA. Jamie, as you know, you can also do it with FHA. FHA loans, you can actually buy a 4-unit. For some reason, once you get past 4, it's commercial real estate.
Yeah, 1 to 4, yeah.
1 to 4. You can buy a 4-place, a quadruplex with an FHA loan and actually rent out the other 3 places.
And there you can pay for the mortgage, and if you got 3 other units, you're probably making some money, especially right now with rents being at all-time high. Now, you have 100-some properties under management. I mean, rents are through the roof right now. Are they staying right there, or is there some pressure for them to come down right now?
Yeah, Jim, when are those rents going down?
We got to raise the rents so we can what's the song now? Now, the rents are staying up, and the rents are very strong because there's a lot of people.
Bad news.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are actually, for some reason, still locked out of getting a mortgage after everything has happened. There's not as many options as there used to be. Jamie well knows that, it used to be if you breathed, and you were able to get a loan, you were qualified. So the qualifications have changed a lot. So that is one of the things that the demand has went up for rentals.
Are you seeing a younger pool of rentals right now? Because I hear a lot from like the millennial crowd that they don't want to buy a house. They just want to be renters. They don't see the value in home ownership. Are you seeing a younger crop of renters that are coming through your real estate practice?
Yeah, he kicks them off his lawn all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of them coming in like that. A lot of the younger ones are coming in wanting to rent versus buying, even when you explain to them, because right now there's things out there. I mean, you got the VA loan, which is 100% financing, but you also have, if you're not a veteran, there's Hillsborough County assistance that'll give them $15,000 to help them buy a house. So usually for about $1,000, you can actually buy a house right now, but they still want to rent.
Right. The down payment assistance program, how is the liquidity of that program? Is it still, because I've heard ups and downs in that program, like it was running out of funding. Is it's still a pretty healthy program, and what do they need to do to get that?
You need to talk to the right mortgage person, because if you talk to the wrong mortgage person, they'll always tell you, it's running out of money because they don't have that program.
Right.
Find another mortgage person. It's never actually ran out of money. They always refund it as soon as it gets going, as soon as it gets low again, depending on one. And there's several of them out there. So you just got to find the right mortgage person.
$15,000 down payment assistance. I think you got to take a class, don't you? That's step one, to enroll in the housing authority's class, and then you can qualify for that. But then again, that's not my specialty. You want to talk to somebody like Jim McPeak and his team. I'm a bank-owned listing agent. I work with the banks, as do you. And speaking of the bank properties, we both do the HUD properties, the $100 down program. We were just talking about it briefly. But what are you seeing this year in foreclosure inventory? How's the market looking in foreclosures?
It is still looking strong. I've got about 30 of them right now, so we've got good inventory coming up, and I think we're going to have them for a few more years. But man, the interest rates are what's phenomenal right now. If anybody can buy a house any way they can, buy it now. Even if you're going to move in a year, we can rent it out for you.
You said something about $1,000. Me and Rick looked at each other like, dude, can I borrow $1,000?
It's actually $100 down, but you've got to come to closing with more than $100. We've explained that before, but that simply replaces it's an FHA loan. Instead of 3.5% down, you replace the 3.5% down with the $100 down. You still have some closing costs, but it significantly reduces the down payment. So, and to find those homes, if you go to HUDhomestore.com, any home that qualifies for FHA mortgage in the state of Florida that is HUD owned qualifies for $100 down. Again, HUDhomestore.com, and probably about 60-70% of the inventory that's out there does qualify. Very underutilized program. The only people that know about it are the ones that listen to people like you and me talking about
the
it.
only ones that know about it are the ones that are broke enough to know about it.
So HUDhomestore.com, we get kudos for that or something.
Yeah, that's part of our training. Jim's over there logging it down. So
how many times did we say that now?
Now, I see you got a real estate school too, the Cook Real Estate School. Tell us about this.
Well, yeah, actually, this is a great opportunity for anybody that wants to become a real estate agent and earn up to 6 figures or more in real estate. We're going to have the 63-hour course being taught. Well, actually, the instructor is going to be there every other week at my office from 9 to 4. I encourage anybody that wants to have a career in real estate to get with me or Jamie. Jamie's got the information too. He'll have it up on his
I'll put it up on the recap.
On the recap, yeah. And you can actually go to Cook Real Estate School at my office from 9 to 4 Monday through Friday every other week, and be able to get the real estate training you need to pass the state exam.
What's the cost to get in?
It's like $259.
Yeah, it's not too much. Yeah, you can get a real estate license. You can be up and running in a real estate business for under like $1,000 when it's all said and done with just the basic stuff. That's when I wanted to start a business. Real estate was one of the cheapest and what had the best back end to it. So that's why I went into real estate. Do you find a lot of people, Jim, get into real estate with unrealistic expectations? They think it's easy to get in and the sky's the limit.
Jamie, we see them all the time at the office, man. They're always there. They're thinking that this is their own boss now, and the thing they come in and do is complain about the coffee all the time.
Yeah, being a real estate agent it's a business. You got to treat it like a business, just like anything else. And the upside potential is huge, and the cost and the barriers to entry are very low. But it's a challenging business. I spent a year struggling through it before I found my niche. Jim, how long were you in real estate before you found your niche? Did you take off in real estate, or did you struggle for a year?
Man, I've always been a hustler out there. My niche is getting out there, knocking on doors, making things happen.
So you were ready to go from day one. You were making the sales. Yeah.
Had my flip chart. I was out there knocking on doors. Let's sell your house. Let's get it done.
If you go to learn real estate from Jim, it's probably like learning how to be a soldier from R. Lee Ermey, huh?
Are you still teaching your agents to door knock? That's a lost art in real estate.
Man, I have agents that I just tell them, I'm sorry, but I'll probably make you cry. This is the way you do it, But it's like the coach here was saying, there's certain things you have to be passionate about, and you have to do certain things to be successful. You can't just be interested. You got to be committed.
Yeah, door knocking is a great way for realtors to get listings, although they get chased off of some lawns as well. So that's just part of the business.
The door shut in your face.
But the most successful ones, that is one of the skills that they do utilize, the door knocking techniques. Currently talking to Jim McPeak, owner of the McPeak Real Estate Firm, and you can pick up the phone and give him a call at 813-495-3875. Again, 813-495-3875, specializing in all things real estate, and also has a big property management pool. So if you're looking to find a property manager for your property, they got a lot of experience in property management, 100 plus properties under management over there at the McPeak Real Estate Firm, and learn more at McPeakTeam.com. You're listening to That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn Apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vane 911. We will help you feel great again.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Crash on westbound I-4 near 301. Off to the left-hand side, still blocking the left-hand lane, and that has traffic slow from the Plant City area. Also northbound I-75 slow from before the Summit Expressway to I-4, and southbound seeing delays from Bruceby Downs. Heavy traffic off the Howard Franklin Bridge into the West Shore area. Also a crash in St. Pete on 34th Street near 5th Avenue North. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uderick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Lead Safe America. Does your child struggle to concentrate and pay attention? What looks like ADD or autism may actually be caused by lead poisoning. Lead is a neurotoxin. It can cause permanent brain damage. Find out how to protect your family. Go to leadsafeamerica.org.
Today, mostly sunny with less humidity, just a 20% rain chance, high 91. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low 74. Tomorrow, a 20% chance of showers, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Talking to Jim McPeak, owner of the McPeak Real Estate Firm. Learn more at McPeakTeam.com or give his firm a call, 813-495-3875. And Jim, you have a couple different locations, and you also have a commercial real estate practice as well?
That's correct. Yeah. So if you're looking to get into real estate, whether it's residential or commercial, I'm your guy. We got McPeak Real Estate Firm that's over at 1463 Oakfield Drive, Suite 122. And across the street, we've got Commercial Real Estate Firm, which is 1463 Oakfield Drive, Suite 144.
How's the commercial real estate market right now? I originally got into real estate thinking I was going to do commercial real estate. What's the market like out there for commercial?
It's great. I mean, commercial real estate, though, Jamie, as you well know, is a whole different animal. I mean,
you go for a whole year hoping to get paid, and then the deal falls out, and you're just like, you're hating life at that point.
You got to find those units that are 5 or more. Remember, that's commercial, man.
Right, but I mean, the typical transaction can take a year, and that's why I guess a lot of brokers just go into like leasing, quick transactions, and they make leasing. But if you're involved in a sale, I mean, that can take some time, right?
Oh, definitely. It can take a while. I mean, there's a lot of intricacies about it, especially like your last partner. I mean, your last what do you call these people? Yes, the last guest, Shelly.
So this is worth a squeeze, is what you're saying.
Shelly represents a lot of people in the business brokerage side, and that is another segment of commercial brokerage that is so different than everything else, man.
Yeah, but when they do sell, don't they make a killing?
You could, yeah. I mean, depends on it's going to depend on the purchase price. If you're dealing with millions of dollars, then yeah, you could be. But a lot of businesses, buildings are only a few $100,000.
So most of these guys keep the boat floating by selling off a lot of small businesses.
I don't know how some brokers survive, to be honest with you.
There's a lot of things out there. Like one broker I was dealing with one time, we went to Rooms to Go and was actually offering them to sell their business to us, or actually sell their real estate to us and lease it back.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of companies will do that because it frees up their capital.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of builders do that. A lot of builders will actually sell their real estate
Jeez, Jim.
Yeah.
You can tell that Jim is very successful. His phone's gone off so much, I thought we were in the middle of an earthquake.
I didn't know that one. Actually, the signal or the ringer actually worked on it. I didn't think the ringer even worked on it, man. I was like,
I'm over here like, what's vibrating on that?
It amplifies it in the headset too. I can, whenever somebody's phone vibrates, I hear that tenfold in my headset. Casino night, you have an upcoming event also. What's this?
Casino night, September 23rd over at Gulfport. We're having it's $50 for entry, and you get like $500 of play money or something like that. And you go out there and you have the craps. We have roulette. We're going to have the card games and all that. Do all you want, and then at the end of the night, for every 1,000 or something, they're going to give you tickets for that. Then they're going to draw out of there, who the tickets. So it doesn't matter how much you make. I mean, a lot of these things, if you bid on the end, it's not going to be like that. You're going to get tickets.
Is this a real estate event for your firm, or what is this related to?
Oh, this goes to the VA Rep. It's a nonprofit organization where we help veterans. We actually have given away houses this year, and we actually have helped people that couldn't normally buy a house. One of the guys over in Plant City, he bought a house from us for like $125,000, and the veterans had the first look, sort of like how the FHA people do that.
The first look program, that they get priority over the investors. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly,
Yeah, they have a first look period. Yeah, HUD and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have those types of programs to give owner occupants a pro order, or else the investors would be eating up all the inventory.
Oh my God, yes.
And it's a common complaint amongst buyers out there is how they get their offers accepted. And I told them at the last segment I'd give a couple of tips, and so let's share with that real quick. Jim, number one, when people come to the table, oftentimes they're not pre-approved, and they got to get that full loan approval. Talk to them about that.
They have to have that pre-approval letter sent with their offer. So before you even look for a house, you need to get with a mortgage person, a reputable mortgage person, and get a pre-approval letter ASAP before you even look.
And get the full loan approval too, not just a pre-qualification, meaning that you've turned in your documents and you've gotten yourself fully underwritten. So your offer at that point is only contingent upon appraisal and title. Your offer is almost as good as cash. Make sure you have a selling agent that knows how to sell it too. A lot of selling agents don't know how to sell their buyers to the listing agents. And I've seen just about every agent out there now. I've done 1,600 some transactions. A lot of weak salespeople out there.
Definitely. Not all salespeople are created equal. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Limit your inspection periods and put a high deposit down. The deposit is the measure of the sincerity of the offer. If you only want to put a few $100 down, you're not very sincere about your offer.
No, it always cracks me up when you have a cash offer for $150,000 and they put $500 in escrow.
That's how we're measuring the sincerity of your offer. If you're not willing to put a lot of skin in the game, you're probably going to cancel on the seller. So make sure that you put a good deposit and limit the inspection period, especially with the banks. Keep them to 7 days and under. If you need to, then request an extension on the inspection period after you've done the initial inspection. Don't just come in there and say, I need 15 to 20 days to inspect. Come in there with a short inspection period. If something comes up, then request an extension to the inspection period. A few good tips out there to help you get an offer accepted and protect your interests as well. Well, Jim, we got to wrap up this segment. Another good show here. And Jim, as always, we appreciate the support on the program here.
Oh, no problem. Great being here. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. And Jim McPeak, owner of the McPeak Real Estate Firm, specializing in property management and bank-owned properties, but he and his firm can help you with commercial real estate and traditional retail selling and buying. And again, you can reach out to him at 813-495-3875. Again, 813-495-3875, or visit McPeakTeam.com for more information. Be sure to learn more about this program, TampaBayRadio.com, and follow me on Twitter, Jamie_Maloney, and also Instagram, Jamie_Maloney. And again, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
The proceeding was a commercial program.